Welcome to the Hobby School podcast. Whether you're a seasoned hobbyist or just getting started, Hobby School is the perfect place to learn something new. My name is Dr. Destiny Kopp, and I'm your host of the podcast. But before we jump into our episode for today, the only thing I ask is that if you enjoyed the episode, please share with a friend and give us an honest review on your favorite podcast platform. This helps us get out the content to more people. I also want to invite you to get on our wait list for our next Hobby School Online Learning Summit. These are free to attend, and you can find the link to join at hobbyschool.com, which is also in our podcast show notes. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. And my special guest today is Marcella Friel. Marcella is a transformational mentor who helps health-conscious women like you love and forgive yourself, your food, and your figure. Marcella, thank you so much for joining me. I am very excited to jump into this topic with you today. We're going to be talking about eliminating food cravings in minutes and with no willpower. And that just sounds just like me. So I am so excited to chat with you. But before we get into all the questions I have for you, can you tell the good audience a little bit more about you and how you help people?
Well, thank you so much for inviting me on the podcast, Destiny. So as you said, my name is Marcella Friel. And yeah, I help women heal the emotional roots of yo-yo dieting, binge eating, sugar addiction, and chronic body shaming. And my main program is the Women, Food, and Forgiveness Academy, which is an online transformational mentorship program where we work with archetypes of feminine power: the maiden in the springtime, the mother in the summer, the queen in the fall, and the crone in the winter. And we draw on archetypal wisdom and wisdom from various spiritual traditions, along with, basic good holistic nutrition information, Ayurveda, time-tested, fad-proof self-care skills to help women basically reclaim their soul from restrictive dieting. And, the results that women have gotten from the Academy and the work that I've been privileged to do has led women to really greater love and acceptance of their body, regardless of what the scale says. Yeah.
And I love that they love themselves no matter what they're seeing on the scale. And that
Absolutely.
is so very powerful. So let me jump right in. And the first question I have for you, and we're going to go back to that willpower comment. So why doesn't willpower work? And especially when it comes to food cravings.
Yeah, it's a great question, Destiny. So, willpower, well, let's just talk about food cravings to begin with. So food cravings are connected to the fight or flight response. So if you've ever had that feeling of panic, like I have to have this food right now, like you have a craving for chocolate, you have a craving for something salty, you have a craving for ice cream at 10 o'clock at night or whatever it is, and it's a really panic-driven feeling, that is linked to the fight or flight response in your brain. And, sometimes willpower can work. One of the things I like to say to my women is, sit on your hands until the feeling passes. Because if you're sitting on your hands, there's not a whole lot you can do. But as a kind of way of relating to emotional eating altogether, having to summon that willpower like over and over and over again, it can be really exhausting. So there is a tool that I use that I'll tell you about in a little bit called emotional freedom techniques that actually helps to calm that fight or flight response and calm that panic down so that, even within 5 minutes, you can go from, I must have this popcorn right now to, oh, what popcorn? I could care less about it. Yeah, so the exercise that I want to lead you through, I've done this on with women in person. I've done it in retreat settings, and I always am sure to bring a trash bag because, we just end up throwing a lot of the stuff in the trash.
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about this tool, the one that you have for the emotional freedom technique.
Mhm. So EFT, some of your audience might have heard of this tool, EFT, Emotional Freedom Techniques. It's also called tapping. And essentially, it's a form of emotional acupuncture that, we can do on ourselves. So again, if you think about food cravings, being connected to the fight or flight response, what we do when we're tapping is we fingertip tap on points that are at or near the ends of certain acupuncture meridians while we're recollecting a stressful situation. And what the tapping does is it sends a little kind of a circuit breaker back into the limbic system of the brain where the stress, kind of originates from. So it helps to calm down that kind of limbic smoke alarm, fight or flight response. And something that's really important, I think, for our audience to know, just in general, is that the limbic system of the brain, where the trauma is stored and where that fight or flight kind of emanates from, it's our midbrain and it's older than language. And this is why, we can go to talk therapy, we can talk for years and years and years. We can understand intellectually why we struggle with food cravings and why we struggle with emotional eating. We can know all that, but unless we go back into these deeper recesses of the brain, which are older than language, we really won't make any progress. I guess, you think of the saying, talk is cheap. It's kind of like that. So the tapping is a pretty simple self-help tool, very easy to learn. And this is a great little tool to have in your toolkit when you feel, for example, you're sitting at an office meeting and the plate of donuts comes around, and you're kind of sitting there and you feel bored and like, oh, here come the donuts and they look really good and I'd love to have a donut. But you know that if you have that donut, if you have one, it's going to lead to the whole tray, right? Or you don't want to have when you have that kind of conflicting emotion response about the donuts, again, that panic, that fight or flight, the tapping is a tool that you can use to just help calm all that down so that you can make, a wiser food choice in that moment.
And that is such a powerful tip. I personally had never heard of emotional freedom techniques. So well, I'm definitely learning something here. So let me jump into the next question and it's related to emotional eating. So what are some of the core issues or things that people are feeling that can drive that emotional eating?
Well, yeah, when we eat from a place of emotions, those emotions can run the gamut, certainly boredom. Going to the fridge every 2 minutes when you're feeling bored. Eating anger is a huge one for the women that I work with. And then eating, even excitement can be, excitement and happiness can be a cause for eating, like, hey, I'm going to celebrate. Okay, I'm going to have a piece of cake. But if you look, Destiny, at all those emotions, they're all coming from some kind of imbalance. And, some of the core issues here, one of them can be difficulty just relating to emotions altogether, just having trouble feeling anything. As one of my clients said to me once, if I feel anything, I will feel everything. So, there can be a fear that any emotion that I feel is going to completely overwhelm me. And, that can be the case, for example, with like grief or anger or sadness. Sometimes in terms of core issues, if in our family of origin, for example, we were told like, be a good girl, don't make waves. I mean, I think just as women all together, we have this conditioning to be nice. And one of the things I say to the women in my Women Forgiveness Academy is, please don't be nice, but you can be kind. Being kind is very different than being nice. But if we've been raised to be nice girls and good girls and don't make waves, then emotional territory altogether can become threatening, dangerous. Maybe somebody disapproved of us because we raised our voice or spoke up or, what have you. So then, if you think about it, those emotions have to go somewhere. They have to go somewhere. So what do? We go to the cupboard, we go to the fridge, we go to the store and buy the crunchy stuff in the big bags, So one of the things we work on in the academy, we certainly work on food cravings. And then we also go back and we look, okay, so what were those messages that you got about being angry? Or how happy can you be and still be a member of your tribe? And we'll use this tool of tapping to help to, go back into those early experiences and undo them and then redo them how we would like them to be, and then imprint that going forward so that we actually can change, core beliefs at their root.
And it sounds like a lot of these either cravings or issues that kind of lead us to go into that emotional eating, or a lot of it's mental.
Mental is certainly part of it, but I think it's also, I think there can be a physiological component to it. So, if you've ever felt triggered by something, right? Somebody says something that triggers you, or they give you a look that triggers you. You might not like it mentally, but then maybe your stomach goes into a knot, your throat closes up, you break into a sweat, your temples start pulsing. There can be a very strong physiological response that's been sort of programmed into the system based on, whatever associative memory is connected with that experience. Yeah, for sure.
So now I want to talk a little bit through about the tapping.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be willing to guide us through some tapping right now?
Sure, absolutely. So let's see if we can eliminate your food cravings in minutes with no willpower. How about that?
Yeah, I would love for that to happen. I'm actually hungry right now. So there you go.
There you go. Okay. Okay, so here, let's do this. I want to invite you, Destiny, and let's invite everyone who's listening to this podcast to just think for a moment about a particular food that might be difficult for you to say no to, that you might feel a very strong craving. So one of mine, I will confess, actually, I'll tell you about one of mine. Well, I'll tell you about one of mine. Okay. White cheddar cheese popcorn. And the more like holistic the ingredients, it's like, oh, well, this is just, corn and powdered cheddar cheese or whatever. So think about a food. Like, do you have one, Destiny? Is there one for you?
I'm definitely a salty person. So
Yeah.
Chips would be on my list for sure.
Okay. So like tortilla chips, potato chips.
Yes, absolutely. I could pass on the sweets every single day, but the salty snacks is, my weakness.
Okay. So think about your favorite bag of chips. So like, is it blue corn tortilla chips? Is it white corn tortilla chips? Is it like sour cream and onion potato chips? Is it?
I'll be honest, I kind of like them all.
Yeah, I know, me too. So, okay, well, just pick one just for the purposes of doing this exercise, and everybody else too, just, maybe yours is a can of Pringles or something, or a Milky Way bar or whatever it is. So just think about that for a moment. And I'll invite everybody to just really, as much as you can, just visualize that food and imagine that bag in front of you. And like, just imagine you're opening the bag and you're smelling that food and you're looking at the chips in the bag, or the popcorn in my case. And like for me, as I'm describing this, my mouth is starting to water. So,
So I'm not the only one.
oh, no, the cravings are actually hardwired into our system, and that's a whole other conversation. But so, like, how strong would your craving be in this moment, Destiny? Like, is there a craving that feels strong here?
Yes, because I truly am hungry too. So
Yeah,
I'm having troubles like disconnecting from the hunger versus just the food cravings. Does that make sense?
yeah, it does. And when I do this in live events or I do this in my online programs, I will actually have women sit with that food in front of them. And I do it like right before lunch when we're hungry. So I do torture people with this. So it's only for a few minutes though. So how strong would you say the craving is on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the strongest?
I would say probably, an 8 or a 9. It's definitely up there.
Good. Okay, we want it up there. That's what we want. Mine, I think I would say is about a 6. And everybody else who's listening, just if you can get a number, and if it's higher than 5, that's usually what we want to work with. Okay, so what I'm going to invite you to do, everybody listening, and Destiny, you can follow along here, is just say as I say and do as I do, and just repeat after me. And if my words don't resonate for you, Destiny, feel free to change them, because it's important that your subconscious is hearing, what you want to tell it. So let's just start here. We're going to bump. We're going to tap the side of the hand with the fingers of the other hand. So this is what we call like the karate chop point, that fleshy side of the hand just below the fingers, the outside of the hand. And you can just tap it with the 4 fingers of the other hand. So just start tapping right there and just think about that bag of chips and repeat after me. So even though I'm really craving this food, go ahead.
Even though I'm really craving this food,
I deeply love and completely accept myself.
I deeply love and completely accept myself.
Even though I'm really, really craving this food,
Even though I'm really, really craving this food,
I'd love to eat it right now.
I'd love to eat it right now.
And I love and accept myself right where I'm at.
And I love and accept myself right where I'm at.
Okay, so continuing to tap on the side of the hand, even though I'm craving this food,
Even though I'm craving this food,
I'd love to eat this.
I'd love to eat this.
Yeah. And I love myself exactly as I am in this moment.
And I love myself exactly as I am in this moment.
Okay, and now let's just tap around the point. So tapping on the top of the head. Oh, this food.
All this food.
Yeah. Okay, so tapping on the inside of the eyebrow, right where it meets the bridge of the nose. Okay, so we're going to say this bag of chips.
This bag of chips.
Perfect. And everybody else listening, just say whatever your food is. Okay, and then tapping on the side of the eye, like right on the temple of the eye, basically. This bag of salty chips.
This bag of salty chips.
Under the eye, this salty, crunchy bag of chips.
A salty, crunchy bag of chips.
Under the nose. Oh, I would love to just have at least one.
I would love to have at least one.
Under the mouth. I'd probably eat the whole bag.
I'd probably would eat the whole bag.
Good. Tapping on the collarbone point, just tapping right to the side of the notch in the collarbone. Either side is fine. Just tapping there. This intense craving.
This intense craving.
So tapping under the arm, like basically right where the bra strap is, you can just slap it with your 4 fingers. Okay. Oh, I'm craving this so much.
Oh, I'm craving this so much.
Back up to the top of the head. Yeah, I'd love to eat this snack, whatever it is, or this food.
Yeah, I would love to eat this chips.
Okay, good. Perfect. Inside the eyebrow. And I bet it would taste delicious.
And I bet it would taste delicious.
Side of the eye. Yeah, I would love those first few bites.
Yes, I would love those first few bites.
Under the eye. And I would keep on eating.
And I would keep on eating.
Under the nose. And as I kept eating.
And as I kept eating.
The mouth. My body would probably say, that's enough.
My body would probably say that's enough.
Okay, collarbone point. But I would probably just numb out and bypass that.
But I would probably just numb out and bypass that
Okay, under the arm and eat the whole damn thing.
and eat the whole damn thing
Top of the head until I felt really, really gross
until I felt really, really gross.
inside the eye. And then I would say, why did I do that?
And then I would say, why did I do that?
Okay, temple of the eye. Why did I do that again?
Why did I do that again?
Good, perfect. Under the eye. What's wrong with me?
What is wrong with me?
Under the nose. And then I would feel so ashamed.
And then I would feel so ashamed.
Under the mouth. And I would vow to never do it again.
And I would vow to never do it again.
Under the arm. Until next time.
Until next time.
Perfect. Top of the head. I am so ready to be done with this pattern.
I am so ready to be done with this pattern.
Okay, good. Inside the eyebrow. This food is not really my friend.
This food is not really my friend.
Okay, we're going to talk to the food directly now. So imagining it in front of you. Yeah, you're delicious for the first few bites.
Yeah, you're delicious for the first few bites.
Under the eye. And then you're just junk.
And then you're just junk.
Perfect. Under the nose. I deserve so much better than this.
I deserve so much better than this.
Under the mouth. I want better than this.
I want better than this.
Excellent. Collarbone point. And I choose to give myself better than this.
And I choose to give myself better than this.
Good. Under the arm. And I really appreciate myself for making that choice.
And I really appreciate myself for making that choice.
Okay, that's it. There's the tapping. So this isn't actually part of the tapping, but I like to ask women to just like really vigorously shake out their hands after they've done the tapping. Just shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. That's the little thing that I add on the end. Just shake it out. Brush it off your arms if that feels good. Brush it off your chest. And then if you have water, just taking a drink of water is a good thing to do after tapping.
I love that exercise.
So how do you feel now? The cravings for you are at an 8 or a 9. Like what number would you give it?
I don't feel like I'd want the bag of chips right now, but I definitely want to eat my dinner soon.
Good. Okay, there you go. Okay, so the craving for the chips, like strong, medium, low?
I would say I am not interested in eating a bag of chips right now.
Excellent. Oh, there we go. We eliminated your food cravings in minutes with no willpower.
You did. You got me on that one.
I did. I know it works like magic. It's really, really good. Really good. Yeah, that's why, like I said, when I do this exercise in a live setting or like in an online group, just I bring the trash bag because people look at the Pringles or the bag of tortilla chips and they're like, this is junk. Actually, what I will do after the exercise is say, okay, go ahead and eat it. And I remember doing, whenever I do this exercise with other women, I do it myself as well for my own food cravings. And one time, Destiny, I did it with like seaweed snacks. I don't know if you've ever seen those. They're like,
yes, I have.
Yeah. So like, my craving was like 8 or 9, just like yours. I really wanted to eat it, did this exercise. And then when I smelled the seaweed snacks again, they just smelled like chemical, rancid oils and just junk. And that's what can happen. Like the tapping can kind of awaken your sensory response. The craving is calmed down and like you go to put that Pringles in your mouth or the Good and Plenty candy and you're like, this tastes so awful. Yuck. I don't even want this. And in the trash it goes.
Well, it's such a good exercise. And I am so thankful that I had the opportunity to learn about it today because I had never heard of it before.
Nice.
But Marcella, before we wrap it up here, do you have any last minute tips for the audience?
I would just say your struggles with food are not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you and there's nothing bad about you. There are things that might be in the way and they can be moved out of the way as you become ready to allow them to be moved out of the way. So my parting tip would be forgive yourself. We live in a society right now where so much has broken down in our food system, in our eating rituals, in our lifestyle, that inevitably these situations will show up, these emotional eating patterns and so on. And once you start to learn about that and really place your own struggles in that context, I think it becomes so much easier to just understand and forgive and release. Yeah.
And I love that. Just simply forgive yourself.
Yeah.
So, Marcella, can you tell people where they can find you? And I believe you also have a free gift for them.
Yes, I do have a free gift. So I have a PDF download that I can offer you called the Root Causes Questionnaire. And this is a little toolkit to use this tool, EFT tapping, to help you get very quickly to the emotional roots of, whatever food behavior you're struggling with. So it's called the Root Causes Questionnaire. It's just a very step-by-step guide, how to use tapping to uncover and release, the hidden issues that are driving your food behaviors. And you can find that. You can also visit me on my website, womenfoodandforgiveness.com. So that's all one word, lowercase, womenfoodandforgiveness.com.
And we will make sure that those links are in the show notes so people can go there directly and find you. And Marcella, thank you so much for joining me and walking us how to eliminate food cravings in minutes with absolutely no willpower.
Yeah, thank you, Destiny. That was fun.
Thank you so much for listening today. Don't forget to sign up for the waitlist so you'll be the first to know when our next free Hobby School online learning summit launches. The link is in the show notes for this episode, or you can go to hobbyschool.com, and that's Hobby School with school without an H in it. Talk soon.